Watch Palmer come into position. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. In this man's estimation, that's a clear handball on Palmer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Under Review, the most controversial show in the Major Arena Soccer League. My name is Phil Lavanco. That is the head of officials for the MASL, Ryan Cigich. We take the most controversial refereeing decisions around the MASL, and Ryan gives his opinions. Ryan, it's so great to see you again for another season. I can't believe they have us back. My usual question at this time of year, are there any rule changes?
Yeah, well, it's good to be back, and good to see you, Phil. Actually, there are no rule changes. We have a few referee focus areas or points of emphasis that the league has asked us to take a little bit closer look at, but no substantive rule changes.
I think that's the first time since we've started the show. There's no big rule changes.
Yeah, you are correct.
What are those things that we're looking at?
Well, Phil, the biggest one this year is trying to get a hold of and cut down on the holding, the grabbing, the pulling, the mugging of the more creative target players. And, finishing out last year, Keith, John, and myself, along with the feedback that we received from coaches and players in general, was that the trend was that there's too much contact being permitted on some of the league's more creative players. And this doesn't mean that other players can be held and pulled. And let's keep in mind that it's a two-way street too, because a lot of these target type players, they do a good amount of holding themselves. And we don't have a list of players that are going to get any special treatment or anything else. It's more or less of being just a little bit tighter and putting more focus on a rule that's already in place. And I think it's similar to some of the changes that we've seen in the NBA or the NHL in some recent years, where they felt some little minor tweaks would improve the quality of the game, and that's exactly where we are with it.
We want to see more open play. We want to see offense. We want to see exciting play. We want to knock down on those clutching and grabbing, as you said.
Yeah, and then secondly, we're still talking about, dissent. All leagues, both internationally and domestic, have dissent point of emphasis. Outdoor, you're seeing the captain-only campaigns, to manage it. And so our focus on that this year is the crowding of the referees. So in situations where we have multiple players, I'm talking 4-ish plus players crowding the referee space, someone is more than likely going to get a 5-minute yellow card. And we don't want to take the reaction of the moment or the emotion out of the game. All that should be there, but needs to be controlled in a professional way. But when you have this many players crowding the referee, it's just not a good image for our game. And hey, it's very, very rarely have I ever changed a call because of having players in my face.
You hear that, players? No more crowding around Ryan. He'll talk to you after the game. We've got a red card right off the bat from the first game of the season. Kansas City at St. Louis, second quarter. And Ryan, I'm not quite sure if you had to draw it up in a rule book. What is a violent conduct red card? It's this elbow from Acosta on the Comets.
Well, not much else I can add to this. It's very clear from the video. It's a look back by Costa in a deliberate swing action of the elbow with a lot of force, and clearly could have injured the St. Louis player, which lucky that didn't happen. The one thing that I do want to point out here is that there was some question about, blue cards were shown first and then they changed it or whatnot. But keep in mind, this is the proper mechanic. We have two referees, and when both have an angle and both have a look at something like this, even though to most everyone it's clearly obvious, the mechanic is that the referees will display the blue card first. They will get together. Hey, what did you see? I saw this. I think it should be a red. Yeah, I agree. 100% red. And then they will show the red card. So the red card wasn't missed initially, like what the broadcasters were saying and some other comments, but that's the proper mechanic.
After the weekend, the MASL Discipline Review Committee reviewed the red card on Leo Acosta and decided to give him an extra 2-game suspension in addition to the 1-game suspension from the red card. A reminder for everyone out there that Ryan is not a part of the disciplinary review committee. One more from this game, under 2 minutes in the third quarter, and Robert Williamson and Zach Reggett are headed to the boards. Now it looks ugly, and Zach crashes into the boards, a 2-minute blue card for boarding on Williamson. Now, Ryan, I understand player safety is paramount here, and I agree with the decision overall to give the blue card here, but when I slow down this replay, it doesn't look like there's a lot of contact from Williamson. Is this still the correct decision?
I think you got a point there. I mean, it's a good discussion. I think Reggett does a nice job of selling this. And I mean, it's really not boarding because he's not propelled into the boards, but it's a left leg trip very near the boards. And so there's definitely contact and there's speed there, which makes it dangerous and reckless. So I think it's the correct call.
Fourth quarter now of this game, 90 seconds to go, and Williamson is back at it on the turf, getting a blue card here for a shootout. Now, Ryan, I know this is a shootout play. I know you know this is a shootout play, but let's review the criteria for a shootout again for anyone who might be new to our sport.
Yeah, Phil, this is clearly meets the shootout criteria committed by a defending player in his own half, which denies the attacking team an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, and it's a foul against the attacking player. He has control of the ball on one or no defensive players between him and the goal. So clear shootout here. It meets the criteria.
So a shootout is awarded to the Comets. New Comet Dom Francis steps up, and his shootout kick is saved by Paulo. Now, however, Travis writes in and says, I understand referees miss calls. They're human, but can you take a look at this handball on the shootout kick from Paulo on Friday night? Now, Ryan, that's why we're here. So let's take a look at the handball. And it looks like to me that it strikes off of his hand outside of the box. So a clear penalty, in my opinion, on this one. It's a great call from Travis to point it out to us. Would you have liked to seen this called in real time instead of going to the headsets?
Well, I mean, it probably should have been caught in real time, and it looks obvious from this camera angle, but neither of the referees had the angle that we're seeing here. So if we're looking at the positioning, you see, I mean, Rich Grady is looking from behind into Paulo's back, so probably doesn't have a good peripheral to see where that ball contacts him. And then, you know, Drew Klemp, who's out of camera, but he's looking across, and at the time, he just wasn't sure how outstretched that arm was. So I guess my answer to that is this is why we have VR. You know, the other thing here, a bit surprising to me, so I do want to remind all the players, is that you have a full 5 seconds to get the ball off of your foot and scoring, to score, regardless of how many rebounds are off the goalkeeper, the boards, the crossbar, whatever. So this one, you know, could have been put in after the ball came back. So by rule, could this happen on the taking of a shootout, then the restart is a penalty kick. Any foul by the goalkeeper during the shootout is a penalty kick.
Ryan, from one handball in St. Louis to another alleged handball, San Diego Empire versus the Sockers, first quarter, and it appears that Berto Palmer handled the ball in the box on this shot. Now, the Strikers did not have a challenge because of an unsuccessful challenge attempt earlier in the quarter. Ryan, is this a play that you want to see the referees replay on their own, similar to what they did with the goal line attempt earlier in the quarter?
Well, let's keep in mind that the referees do not have an ability to initiate a video review on their own unless it's the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. So that was not an option here. And I mean, you say you think this is a handball, like, I don't know. I mean, we don't see any other angles than what I see here. So I just can't tell you for sure. But, you know, the question here is, does the defender, Palmer, make himself unnaturally bigger? And, you know, what that basically means is this his arm away from his body, and or does his arm move toward the ball? And it looks like it might, but unless we have other looks at it and other angles, who knows?
Would have loved to have seen another angle on this one to confirm it. But, Ryan, it does look like it hit his arm. Come on. Last play of the show, Ambush and Kansas City, this time from Cable Dahmer. Third quarter here, and we've got a handball on the goal line here from Pino of the Comets. Ryan, congrats for being back on the field. I hate to give you credit, but you got this one spot on. We got some good replays on this one, and in my opinion, this looks like a handball right on the goal line.
Well, anybody could have got this one, but yeah, it's pretty clear. Arm and hand is away from his body. It stops the shot on goal. It's inside the penalty area. Pretty easy call to make, an obvious one, and it's a penalty kick. And just a reminder that there is no red card for a dog. So indoor, so this is the 2-minute penalty power play. No red card and a penalty kick.
Can't wait to use this one for the next handball in the box that doesn't turn into a shootout attempt. And we'll have to explain that over and over again. That's it for today's show, Ryan. We've got so much fun ahead for this under review season. First thing I want to talk about, if you want to be like Travis and submit a play, I'm going to be dropping comments into the Facebook groups asking people what plays they want us to review, and we'll take a look, and if it's worthy of the show, we'll put it on the show. And we've got another idea coming out for this week.
Well, yeah, we're going to put out a play every Monday and put a poll up on the website and, see what the fans think. And then you and I will battle it out and come to what the correct call was or should be.
Maybe by the end of this year, I'll be the head of officials with all of my expert rule knowledge. We'll have to find out. That's Ryan Cigich over there. I'm Phil Lavanco. Looking forward to another great season of Under Review.